Do you hear? Do you hear what's driving you? Is it fear? Fear that something bad might happen? Is it reward? Are you driven by desire for some potential reward that you yearn for? Money, success, fame, beauty. These are popular rewards that drive many people today. Or are there some core, unchanging principles that guide the decisions in your life? As summer ends and school begins for many, a lot of us are back to busier, more complicated schedules. With the increased demands upon our time and our energy, something usually has to go. Now, I've been told that the first two things that go for most people are exercise and any spiritual practice that they might do. And I know for me, it's often true that those two end up being cut. When making important decisions, what motivates you? What do you put first in your life? Many people say it's their family. Others say that a successful career is their number one priority right now. Some folks claim that being happy is their central goal. Do you know what's driving you? Do you think that you're making the right decisions about how to spend your time and your energy? Do you put the most important things first? Do you really know what's most important to you? If it's always family first, then what about those times when you need to or are asked to stay a little longer, help out a little more? If you always say, sorry, I need to be with my family, you may not get the work done or be a very reliable or successful employee or boss or friend. And if you always say yes, and you stay late when asked or do that extra thing that someone's asking of you, then when something comes up like that, then you become a pretty unreliable spouse or partner or parent. You do that too much, and our marriage will come apart at the seams, our relationships, or our children are likely to respond to that neglect by acting out and seeking attention in unhealthy ways. You tell your spouse or partner, I'll be home, I'm coming home for dinner, I'll be there. And then something gets dropped on your desk, somebody calls, something that needs to be done. How do you decide? Now, people who convince themselves that happiness is their life's goal often seek temporary joys, temporary satisfactions, moments. But such thrills may be a lot of fun for a day or a moment or an evening, but if our lives are not grounded in a higher goal or purpose, then such feelings of happiness are fleeting and they can leave us empty. People whose primary driver is happiness usually have little tolerance for pain or struggle, for sorrow or disagreement, for boredom, or doing what it takes. The Buddhists talk about our temporal joys, those things that we often reach and try to grasp for, as just pain dressed up in disguise. We can see this all the time with people who put happiness as their central goal, people who cannot do the hard work of maintaining relationships or marriages. The poet writes, I want to know if you can sit with pain, mine or your own, without moving to hide it or fade it or fix it. I want to know if you have touched the center of your sorrow, if you've been opened by life's betrayals, or have become shriveled and closed from fear of further pain. I want to know if you can be faithful and therefore trustworthy. It doesn't interest me to know where you live or how much money you have. I want to know if you can get up after a night of grief and despair, weary and bruised to the bone, and do what needs to be done for the children. It doesn't interest me who you are or how you came to be here. I want to know if you will stand in the center of the fire with me, with yourself, and not shrink back. What the poet knows is that deep satisfaction and deep joy come from living with character. There's an old story from India about a man who lost his job, and he was struggling to get by. He was quite depressed. One night, he had a dream, and it told him to go to a certain place, and there he would find a certain person who had something that would change his life. The next morning, when the Indian man woke up, he went to the place in his dream. Not really sure why he was going, listening to a dream. Maybe people would call him a fool. Come on, old man, who listens to their dreams? But when he arrived, he found there a Hindu holy man. So he went up to the holy man and he told him about this dream that he had had the night before. And upon hearing the dream, the holy man said, well, yesterday I found a rock. I've been carrying it here. It must be for you. And as he said it, the holy man reached into his old cloth bag and he pulled out the largest diamond that the man had ever seen. Now he handed the diamond to the man who had had the dream, and he said, here it is, it's yours. Well, you can imagine this man ran home filled with excitement and a newfound hope. But the next day he came back and he went looking for that holy man. And he brought the diamond with him. And when he found him, he said to the holy man, last night I could not sleep. All I could think about is what I really want is not this diamond. I want whatever it is that you have that allowed you to give it away. In that sleepless night, he realized that the gift that the holy man had given him was not the diamond at all. The gift was the example of living a life with deep satisfaction rather than a fleeting happiness.